All right. Y'all know what it is. Welcome out, welcome out. If y'all didn't know, this is the Remix Morning Show, giving you that boom bap radical news right here all day. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Let me introduce you to your host. We got no other than Dr. Jared Burn It Down, Kim Brown, and Kamal K. Franklin.
What's up, good people?
What up, what up, what up?
Yay.
Welcome everybody back to the Remix Morning Show. How's everybody feeling? Looking good, looking good. What's up, Leah? The light skins.
Already.
There we go.
There we go. What happened?
You broke up a little bit, Ear Doctor. You broke up a little bit.
That I'm a little browner with this lighting.
No.
No?
That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. I think it's the white wall behind you that's making you look a little browner, sir.
Somebody got a new light and acting all brand new now.
Hey.
Had to go to Best Buy real quick, probably yesterday. Get that light. Like, let me get that one. That $35.99 one. Now
you already know, Kamal. Come on, Target. Come through Target. Let's get this ring light going on. Yes, that was so embarrassing, Jared. My light went off in the middle of the jump. Here come Ear Doctor and Kamal talking about somebody need to pay their light bill. I'm like, wait a second. Wait a minute.
Oh man.
I said New York and New Jersey just could not help themselves, could they?
I thought it still looked good. She had like a kind of like red room, soft core. I don't know what was happening, but
soft core. Here we go.
I'm already too old and it's too early for this conversation.
How's school, Jared? Have we resumed molding the young minds of Morgan State University? How's that going?
Good morning to you, Sugar Shan, Big Teal. I love it. I mean, I love it. I love the classroom. So, everything else is whatever. But once that door closes, I love it. So far it's always good. And I do every semester it is brand new because I really do like to see students' first reaction to me as their faculty. Not a judgment of good or bad or better or worse, but I know that I'm very different. The experience with me is very different, and so it's just fun for me to see students react, and the various ways they react. I'm
curious, Jared. What's the word on you around campus? Like, what's the word on Dr. Ball's class?
Does your reputation precede you in a sense?
To a certain extent, yeah. And then I check rate my professor and I ask the students, do they use it? And we as a fun exercise, I go through rate my professor with them, and we discuss how accurate or inaccurate it is. And so, of course, I'm complaining because out of 5 stars, I'm at a 4.8, and I'm like, who's the 2.2 hater? Like, who was holding down my perfect 5? And
your wife did that to humble you, dog.
That's what it is. He all right.
Because she knows what's going to happen, just to send him over the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
But the reputation does precede. Like, I am not known as being difficult. I am known as being overtly political and sort of a radical challenge that most students enjoy. So that's usually what, so a lot of students are like, we just want the easy time and the easy grade, and which it in general can be if you just do some very, basic, so it's a very, I tell them rest in peace to K Slay. I am the no drama professor. Like, he was the drama king. I am the no drama faculty member. So I'm like, you got an issue? I'm here. I got your back. It's all good.
Hey, come out.
Anyway, yeah.
You get kicked out the library?
It's finally happened. I'm in a Motel 6.
Oh, I'm just looking at that. Yeah, I'm just catching that. What happened, Kamal?
Things went wild yesterday. I'm here by myself. Well, real story. My kids are home from school today, and so they got downstairs. Atlanta has this bad. I mean, the school has this bad where it's like 2 weeks into the school system, and already there needs to be a parents no, what is it? A teacher's learning day. So, and they claim they want them to get them ready just in case they have to go back to online learning. So all I got to do is check in on the computer at 8 o'clock, and then they're supposed to do self-directed learning for the day, which really means I get nothing done for the day because there's no self-directed learning. So for the time that I have, I'm locked in my bedroom by myself, trying to some aesthetics. I try to do, some lighting. So hey,
and not to be all of your business come out, but who is watching the children?
Again, she works from home. We all work from home.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
Kamal said they're in the house. They safe enough.
Hey,
they're around. Trust me, they'll come when they need me. I don't lock doors, so unfortunately, so they'll come when they need me.
I'm trying to get everything set up over here. I just moved in my new spot right here, thanks to BPM.
Where's my key?
Spot, you know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Hey, BPM, thank y'all. Wait.
BPM got some of that BLM money.
I was about to say that's some of that $6 million Patrice Cullors money right there, sir.
Wait a minute, I showed the wrong picture. My bad. All right, thanks to BPM.
There you go. I was about
going to big. You know what I mean?
What's that? Fred Douglass's slave quarters? What was that?
And that's still too luxurious for you. You don't even deserve that, brother.
You sending in them donations backpile me. I catch you on the break. Peace.
Hey, but speaking of that, as an exercise yesterday in class, as a sort of an introductory exercise, as we're still, learning each other, to explain how one of the students asked, what did you think of Obama? So I said, everybody Google his house, look up his house.
Which one?
And I understood the new Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, the Martha's Vineyard, not the Hyde Park residence in Chicago, no. But yes, Martha's Vineyard, yes. The compound.
20, and we did a little exercise, actually. I learned a lot, actually, about acreage and whatnot. Because I was saying, because I think it's like 29, what was it, 12,000 acres or 29,000 acres, I think.
Damn.
What? They got all that for sale up in Martha's Vineyard?
We looked it up too, because I know now that 1 acre is 43,000 square feet.
It's
more than 43.
I think somebody told me one time to think of it as the equivalent of a football field, 1 acre.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Which is
so
huge.
They have 20, and I think it was 29 football fields, because that was part of the discussion too. 29 football fields of space. Because I was saying our townhouse is like 2,000 square feet, 2,100 square feet. So I was just trying to think about, like, because I can't picture how big. That's what I was saying. So this is what I think of Obama. I took an exercise from the Remix Morning Show where we used to look up their houses. We should do that and start doing that again. Rich people's virtual tours of rich people's houses. Draw that. Yeah, 29 acres, Emma. Thank you very much. That's what it was. So 29. So we said, so what's 29 times 43,000 square feet? That's what he's living on. And I was like, that's what I think of that's what I think it is. Now, how are the rest of us living? Like, that was,
how was that received by the kids? Were they able to pick that up and follow that? Like,
yeah. I mean, it was part of a broader conversation. I'm leaving out some of the context, but yeah, I mean, and so, but it's still what I love about it though is the shock value of it still. So some students are still trying to figure out, like, what I thought we were supposed to like Obama. Like, they were like,
Exactly.
I thought we were supposed to be uncritically loving this man, and I feel like that's a critique.
Like,
and I'm like, we just getting started.
Don't you talk about Michelle? And those babies are beautiful. Those beautiful babies.
Right. That's it. So anyway, I love the classroom. I love teaching. It's a lot of fun. So
that's wonderful. It
It's
shows
so weird. Like, you're one of the few professors that I know that doesn't complain about classroom work. Most of the ones I know do the opposite. They don't like the class. They don't mind their research, their writing. In fact, they look for opportunities to get out of the classroom, like a good deal is out the classroom, so they can have more research or writing time. So a lot of professors I know, don't enjoy as much of the interactions with the students, it sounds like.
No, I get it. No, I get that. And I agree with them. Like, I would like to teach less classes.
Okay.
Not because I don't enjoy it, but I would like to do some other research and be able to do some things that I don't feel I'm able to really focus on because of the amount of classes I teach. So I get that part. But again, once the door closes and we're already in there, you know, like once we've gotten past the scheduling and all the other office and business and all the other complaints and all the other stuff, once we get in the classroom, that part I really do enjoy. It's yeah. But admittedly, I would like to do less of it because it's just a lot. I do like my students overwhelmingly. There's always a couple that we don't see eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? But no, I do. I do. Like, it's like yeah. Anyway, I do. I love it. And now on the other side, to Kamal's point, we have both of our children are now for the first time both high schoolers together. So they started. That was the
same school.
Same school, but you know, 2 years apart. So they, so, and it was funny. There's that. They get a, but my oldest still has that little bit of, don't be trying to hang out with me all day, and don't be calling my name in the hallway and all that.
Exactly.
But there's a little bit of that, but some of it's fronting, I think, too.
Of course, it's up front. Yeah, I would imagine it would be kind of cool to have a sibling in school with you at the same time. Like that's a very unique experience that many people really don't get,
Yeah.
My young ones are in the same school together, first grade and fifth grade. And for the most part, they treat each other nice. Although, again, they're at this age where it probably was this early for us too, but there's an inordinate amount of conversations around, ooh, you kissing, you got a boyfriend, ooh, somebody wants to kiss you, ooh, you got a girlfriend, so-and-so likes you. I was like, what the hell is going on? He's in first grade. Right. Where's the jokes coming from? Some little first grader would say something, Maya's like, ooh, Khalib's got a girlfriend, and Khalib would go like, ooh, I'll kill you. It devolves into that, of course, but
So do your children have the relationship that if somebody is picking on your son, will his big sister come around and smack kids in the face?
Oh yeah. Both ways.
Oh, good. I love that. Y'all raised them right.
Yeah.
And I'm just
like, when the fighting starts, they know what team they're on. When the fighting's not there, they can fight each other all they want. But when shit go down, they got to know.
That's
Jared, your daughters know that too.
Absolutely.
If somebody's rumbling, we all rumbling.
and then I'm like, and my number's on speed dial. You know what I'm saying? Daddy, get in there too. Like, I'm 5 minutes away.
Exactly where I'm in there.
That's wonderful. I love that for y'all. I've read that. These are wonderful, heartwarming Black family stories. Thank you guys for sharing that with us. Yeah. That's dope.
No, right on. And speaking of family and good parenting, having received some and given some out, got the ear doctor ready to come on back.
Do we know that before?
I was wondering.
No, but I'm giving the benefit of the doubt.
Whoa. He received good parenting. He received good parenting for certain.
Hey,
good parenting.
I got two little angels, man. My kids don't want no smoke, nothing. They cool. They don't fight. No. They just do their work and come home and.
What's their ages?
17, and my daughter will be 13 on the 13th of this month.
Oh wow!
Hey, golden birthday! Let's go!
Congratulations!
I just did.
She about to graduate high school.
She about to go to high school soon. Yeah.
No, the 17-year-old is about to graduate high school.
He's about to graduate. I'm looking at trying to get him get him at Georgia State so he can get this Pell Grant. You know what I mean? I don't want to pay get as many type of scholarships as we can. But I just did a bat mitzvah this Saturday. So it was a 13-year-old girl. That's when it's a girl. Bar mitzvah is when it's a boy.
Is it an S on the end of the bat? A bat mitzvah? Maybe it is a bat mitzvah. Maybe I don't know.
I'm doing the pronunciation over here, Kim. Let's
carry on. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Now let's take this.
What I call it.
Nah, that's what it is. All right, let's take this quick break right here, right now on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Whoa. I was over here trying to get my green screen thing ready, my seed, and I realized, damn, I ain't got my green screen. But anyway, check this out. Welcome out, everybody. This is the Remix Morning Show. Make sure y'all hit that like button, that subscribe button. Go to patreon.com, drop some change in the bucket because you know we love it. Also, make sure you become a member. I see we got a new member. I think it was 40J Blaze. Big up to 40J Blaze. And also, we have a fundraiser, a drive where we trying to get a whole lot of love, love and also some loot so we can go ahead and get these films, the documentaries done. We moving into the big leagues, y'all. We need y'all help to move into the big leagues so we can get this production thing going and put out some good material. All right, with that said, let me let you know who I'm going to talk about today. A quick artist spotlight, and who would that be on? That is going to be on no other than the man them called Cutty Ranks. That's right, Cutty Ranks, straight out of Jamaica, born in 1965. He began his career at the age of 11 with the local sound system, Gemini Sound System. That's with Tony Rebel. Y'all know Tony Rebel, like a vegetable. I said vegetable. You know what I mean. Anyway, he was also with Kilimanjaro Sound, which is Super Cat, and Nicodemus, Josie Wells, and all them cats. So we got to get down with them, and then he moved to Miami, started working with Super Cat, and then more. And what happened is he started dropping some dope stuff, like as you can hear this one right here. DJ, you know me a dead. That's right. That one right there was that stop. That was a real big tune back in the 90s. Let's not also forget now, he dropped over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, around 11 albums, one compilation, and he's been on a lot of people's songs. But this is no other than Cutty Ranks. So get to know him if you haven't. You know what I mean? Wait them on. Who that a come? Wait them on. Wanna think me did done. Wait them on. Who that a come? Wait them on. Wanna think me did done. Me come it. Dill. Sell a boy get killed. Duck a dill. You better sign on no will. Duck a dill. A boy get killed. Duck a dill. Look up in the barrel.
I don't know what it is about that dance hall in the morning, but that shit goes like that. All of a sudden I wake up. I'm like, yes, let's do that. Wind it all, wind everything up. Let's go.
Man, when I first moved down to Florida in 91, it was him and Super Cat and Shabba Ranks that was just really doing it, especially that Limb by Limb. Oh man. But yeah, that's Super Cutty Ranks. Go ahead.
Wow. Cutty Ranks, good.
Yeah,
good.
A lot of memories, a lot of youthful club outing memories associated with that for sure, no doubt.
Hey, fix your face, Kamal. What's that? What you got to say?
Nah, my man was saying a lot of memories. I thought he was going to give us a couple of, when Jay starts talking about memories, we don't know where those can go. How far?
Nope.
I thought for a second.
That's it. That was it. Just a vague reference to the idea of a memory.
Whatever you can remember of your memory.
That's it. Just a vibe, a vague vibe of a memory.
And that's what it is. I'll catch y'all next break.
Right on.
Peace there, doctor. Thank you so much for that.
Indeed. So let's get to some stories. Let's slap that map and get to some news. Remix Morning Show.
The Remix Morning Show. Hey guys, before we get into the news, can I say something real quick?
Please.
Hey, last night, I want to thank my guests last night on Burn It Down with Kim Brown, Leroy Moore, Crip, Hop Nation. Leroy came on and talked to us about a legendary audio recording engineer from the Bay Area. His name was Joe Capers. Joe Capers is an ancestor now, but a lot of those Oakland sound R&B and hip hop songs and artists that you can recall from the late 80s, 90s. I'm thinking En Vogue. I'm thinking Digital Underground. I'm thinking MC Hammer. I'm thinking Tony. Joe Capers was responsible, or was one of the driving forces behind getting a lot of those artists into the studio and getting them recorded. And he was completely blind. And he had the first ever fully functioning, fully accessible recording studio in the Bay Area. And Leroy and his co-producer of the documentary that they produced about Joe Capers, they actually got Oakland to recognize August as Joe Capers Month, which is huge. And so I just want to tell everybody, go back and check out last night's Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Probably fast forward about 15, 20 minutes because we did have some technical difficulties. But once we got Leroy in the place to be, Leroy came on and dropped some gems about Joe Capers. And it is important to understand that, you know, whereas we know that Black history in general gets erased, you know, the more marginalized you are within your Blackness, the likelihood that your contributions and your accomplishments will not be recognized or even acknowledged. So as a Black disabled person, it is huge that Leroy got Joe acknowledged by the city of Oakland in this way. So shout out to Joe Capers, rise and power to Joe Capers, and please let's amplify and uplift not only just the voices, but the experiences and the contributions of Black disabled folks, because we are out here.
True.
Yeah, right on. And I agree. We should bring him back. Leroy, and shout out to the whole Poor Magazine crew out there doing all kinds of good work.
Hey, and Leroy mentioned something last night specific to Black Power Media. He talked about how deaf people who are incarcerated are, I mean, everybody who's behind the wall is experiencing hell, but it's worser if, you know, you are experiencing or living with a disability. And he's referenced specifically deaf and hard of hearing people, because in the phone relay system, they have eliminated the TTY. I can't remember exactly what TTY stands for, but it's a way for deaf folks to communicate via the phone. And with a lot of prisons restricting the ways and the methods of communications is disproportionately affecting deaf and hard of hearing incarcerated folks. So Leroy brought that up last night as something for us on BPM to explore and talk about in the future.
Right on.
They weren't making enough profit, so they really don't care. I mean, that's all it's about for them. So
horrible.
Yeah, no, right on. Definitely. Yeah, teletype writer.
Teletype. Thank you guys.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Big Teal. So right on. So in addition to that, you know, good word, I do have a good news story to start us off with, because you know, I do follow the trade rags of the advertising community, and they have revealed that the school shooting situation, everybody, is solved. Okay. So you heard it here first at the Remix Morning Show. No longer have to worry about school shootings here in the United States or abroad, because we now have bulletproof backpacks that are being branded and marketed for the back to school season this year. So you're welcome, everybody, from the advertising community, that everything is resolved. No more concerns to worry about, because companies saw a spike in interest following Uvalde, Texas school shooting, and have responded as capitalism is wont to do. So it adjusts.
Go to waste.
That's it. I mean, it's
before you go on with the story, can you scroll back to the picture? Scroll back to the picture.
Sure. Yeah.
Slightly apropos that this resembles a graveyard or gravestones.
Oh, damn.
Ew.
Oh, damn. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I was like, what is this, another part of the whatever? That's what it looks like to me.
Ew.
That's crazy. So this is
damn.
Can the kids wrap those? Like, is there one that you wear in the front too? In addition, like, what's the fucking point of only having your back?
What if you get hit in the side?
Is this dude going to do this all the time? Is he going to come on without coming on? He did this yesterday. He just comes on. All you hear is some voice, and then
I'm here for it, though, ear doctor.
It's him being the what is it? The omnipresent one. This is him being.
He's lurking.
The ear doctor is present. Yeah.
So this is crazy because you're right though, but this is what capitalism does, right? That's just market the problem. That's not fix anything. That's just exacerbate so that the solution is teachers with guns and bulletproof backpacks for kids.
Yes.
That's the solution to the problem for mass shootings.
Yeah. Okay. A recent survey of 582 parents from Finance Buzz, which offers financial advice, found that 28% are considering buying a bulletproof backpack for their children. 16% already purchased one or were planning to do so. 21% were not considering buying one, and 35% didn't know they existed. So from a marketer's perspective, this 35% that didn't know they existed represents, fertile ground. So then they're looking at that with the 28 that are already considering buying it. And so they're already going to the people with the budgets. Like, we're well over 50% of the population is susceptible to our messaging.
Gross.
And now they need to they're going to do some more scare tactics, of course, to drive up that other number of the ones who weren't considering it. What do we got to do to get them to consider it, right? We got to make sure that they get some ads that highlight the shooting that took place, where kids got shot, what could have saved them. So they're going to also be targeted for the people who they think they can move from the not thinking about it to the, we really need this. I can't survive without this. What was life before this product entered my stream of consciousness? That's where we're headed to now. Yeah.
I have a couple questions about this.
Sure.
So first of all, a couple of these cannot be answered. So I'm wondering, out of the people who have already purchased or are likely to purchase something like that for their children to go back to school, I'm just curious how many out of those children are actually up to date on their immunizations. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people be focused on the wrong thing. I got to give my child this bulletproof backpack. Meanwhile, child don't have no polio vaccine, just going to school all willy-nilly, but with a bulletproof backpack on, ain't been inoculated against measles, mumps, rubella. But anywho, but also the other question that I had about that, it's like, do you guys know how many guns they took off kids these first couple weeks of school? Like, do a Google search real quick and Google guns found first week of school, and you will see that the kids came to school strapped this school year. The kids was coming to school packing, and I don't see how these backpacks address that issue at all. Right here in Prince George's County, first day of school at Suitland High School, they took not one but 2 guns off kids. And I read a bunch of stories across the country just like that. A gun was found. Police had to be called. There was a threat of a school. I mean, like, this is modern day American public schooling now, where the threat of gun violence is omnipresent, but purchasing a bulletproof backpack is not the solution. But that's the only solution being offered.
No, I mean, that's. Sorry, go ahead, Kamal.
No. I was just going to say quickly, you're right, because the idea is never to solve the problem, right? That they don't care about solving the problem. The idea is just marketing more goods and or services to you, which have nothing to do with solving the problem, but sell products, right? So it's always just about selling products. In fact, solving the problem might mean selling less products. So why solve the problem? So.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, again, whether it's conscious or not, I mean, the effect is also to consciously or not redirect people's attention away from what the issues really are to these silly solutions. So it's and on the other end, I was just thinking the 1 year I taught high school, the solution to people bringing weapons to school was security guards and metal detectors for students on the way into the school. So again, it's not to address the concerns of or why are children arming themselves. It's put a metal plate. By the way, the story says that these inserts. Some of the backpacks are just like it's a metal plate insert into the backpack, and they start at $197. So there's also a bit of a class element here too. I'm thinking, so the rich kids are gonna be coming in their Iron Man suits. And everybody else is supposed to duck and cover, I guess.
It's mostly rich schools getting shot up, right?
I mean, actually, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I haven't thought about that or looked at the class. But you're probably right. But but yeah, $197 to start. That's just the baseline. That's the base stripped down model. If you want the bells and the whistles, like I'm saying, if you want the Iron Man suit, you're gonna have to pay a little bit more. So,
but you're right though. That's all they're doing is to put in a piece of metal. They sewed it into the bag, a regular old bag, and telling you that this is now bulletproof.
They put a turtle with an American flag on it to make it hot. You know what I mean?
This sounds like the opening piece of what I would imagine has to be a whole line of back to school bulletproof gear. Because it doesn't make no sense. Just if you're gonna have the backpack, where's the helmet? where's the neck protector? Where's the front torso guard? Like, how can you just protect? And I'm using protect very generously here because I don't know. I mean, I would love to see the tests. Where the tests? Show me that.
It's not only that. They're going to go farther because now it's going to be bulletproof school vests with the name of your school on it, right? That's going to be the next thing. It's going to be like, like that little sweaters or something or a vest, and it's going to be the name of your school on it. And that'll be the next thing. That'll be bulletproof. So an extra like 20 pounds of gear, and they're going to sell that to you. And once they have the school's insignia on it, the school's going to endorse it. The school's going to be like, yes, we get a cut of that money. So we're
going to get like a whole Under Armour line.
The Armor
line of like I said the Iron Man suit is a joke, but Kim, I think you're onto something like legit. Like I think we might get like a armed gear by Adidas. That's it. Captain America shields. That's it. Get your that's how we're supposed to go to school.
But go ahead,
Kim.
No, I'm just saying it just requires everybody to suspend their actual reality, right? It requires children to suspend the reality that they are in a dangerous situation when they go to public school these days, teachers to suspend that same reality, parents to suspend that same reality, and by extension, the whole society. We are all supposed to act as though this is completely normal for children and their teachers to be expecting not just violence. We're not talking about people fighting, gun violence, big time shootings at their public school, a place that is supposed to be, I hope, a safe haven for learning and safety at minimum. And the whole country is operating under this delusion. And we all have to continue on with this farce as though we are not living in true deep madness and deep madness.
But I do think there is another solution on top of that solution that Jared might have missed. So I just want to bring up the fact that Biden is also on the case.
Good.
Letting you know that you don't have to worry about safety. You don't have to worry about anything.
I call it the Safe for America's plan.
Let me just start this over again. Because Biden is got our back because he is making sure that there is going to be more police in his Safer America plan here to help support us as psychologists, as sociologists, apparently. So let's listen to Biden run down how he's going to help our community.
I call it the Safer America's plan. And both your members of Congress voted for it. It's based on a simple notion. When it comes to public safety in this nation, the answer is not defund the police. It's fund the police. Fund the police. And give them, we expect them to do everything. We expect them to protect us, to be psychologists, and to be sociologists. I mean, we expect you to do everything. I'm not joking. Everything. You realize more police officers are killed dealing with domestic violence than anything else? You realize that? The point is, we ask so much of you. So much of you. I've not met a cop who likes a bad cop. There's bad in everything. There's lousy senators, there's lousy presidents, there's lousy doctors, there's lousy lawyers. No, I'm serious. But I don't know any police officer that feels good about the fact that there may be a lousy cop. I'm tired of not giving the kind of help they need.
So that's your president let you know that he's here for you, that he's solving the problem by putting more cops out on the street.
We keep talking about we ask too much of the police. We are asking a lot less. Okay, we are not asking more of the police. You keep giving them more and giving the psychologists, the sociologists, the counselors less. The cops get all the money. I'm sorry, Jared.
No, but I mean, that's exactly the point I was going to make. That even the liberal version of defund the police was loud about the point of saying we don't want the police to be the psychologists and the sociologists and the medical practitioners. We want to defund them to fund those areas of society to do the care that people need. So we don't have armed agents of the state showing up, guns blazing every time somebody has a little breakdown or an issue or whatever. And then to turn around and say that the number one cause of death for cops is
violence,
domestic violence. That's not an issue of they are over if they're overworked, and that's to the extent that is true. That is about the culture of the police and its relationship to society, and its funding and training, encouraging a demented approach to engaging other people, other human beings. That has nothing to do with a need to give them more money so that they can continue down the path that they're currently on. So anyway. So I mean, that was bananas. You know, that was.
I mean, that's what the criminal justice system is built for, right? It's every problem for society is solved by more cops because they don't want to put money into anything else. So even jails and prisons, like that takes the place of like housing, right? That's what they instead of like supplying housing and putting money towards that, they much rather build new prisons and new jails so that they can put homeless people or houseless people or people who are on the verge of some crisis in their life so that they can lock them away. That for them, for this society, is the only solution that they can ever come up with for this stuff, because it's just about housing or warehousing excess communities, having a bigger militarized domestic force. And so, you know, and obviously it's the everybody, well, not everybody, folks who have said over and over again that we know that we already knew this is what Biden was about. People wanted to put him forth as this hero alternative to right-wing Republicans. But what's the difference? What's the difference when this dude is doing the same and doing the same thing? In fact, the Democrats these days they flip, right? They're far more pro-cop, pro-military. Anytime, like the last 2 or 3 Democratic national conventions were filled with the military and cops talking and stuff like that. Whereas the funny thing is that Republicans now try to switch and have more like Black folks in there to show that they have some sort of support, the 1% support they have from the Black community. So they overload like Black speakers at their Republican conventions. But this whole thing is just a farce, right? So that's your boy.
Is this the piece of legislation? I can't remember. I'm assuming it got passed into law, where they are authorizing funding enough to hire 100,000 more police officers on the streets. We need more cops on the streets. I mean, and this is so reminiscent of 25 plus years ago. This is how is this different from the crime bill? I mean, we're not talking about, mandatory minimum sentences for, drug possession or gun possession. But basically, if you're putting 100,000 more cops on the street, I mean, you are going to get exactly that in some form of fashion. And it's really disgusting. I'm thinking specifically here in Washington, D.C., where the Democratic mayor, the Black woman mayor, Muriel Bowser, is determined to hire thousands of more police, to the extent I think they're offering new DC police officers like crazy incentives, like tens of thousands of dollars for housing, and you get 6 months of free blah blah blah. I'm like, Jesus Christ, imagine if this money was in the schools. Imagine if all that money was going to affordable housing. Imagine if that money was going to get the houseless people into safe and secure housing. So they are determined to further militarize our society more and more and ignore people's increasingly desperate needs more and more. And I don't know what this is going to look like in 5 to 10 years. Like, we have so many homeless bills and laws that have been passed across the country, from Los Angeles to Tennessee. I saw a story out of Norristown, Pennsylvania, where they are going to start locking off and closing off the parks at night in order to discourage unhoused people from sleeping there. And of course, that is now going to be criminalized if they are now found sleeping in Norristown, Pennsylvania parks. It's like the further criminalization of being unhoused. It's like, this is where the fuck does this end?
I keep going back to that story from even before the pandemic, where the military was doing war games in preparation for an uprising among millennials who they were predicting were going to be in the streets because their promises were not going to be realized. The promises of the hopes of their generation weren't going to come to be. So, and I think this is, in general, this is their approach. It's kind of like what we're saying about the backpack story. This is what whiteness and capitalism does. It says, okay, here's a problem that we're creating. So instead of solving it, we'll just suppress it with more violence. So, you know, if you're doing war games because you know people are going to be poor and not achieving the world and the life that they've been promised, instead of creating that world for them, you're saying, no, let's just get ready for the war. That's just, so police wise, they're saying the same thing. We're from the perspective of power, we're not correcting any of these issues. So we just need to get more cops on the street because there's going to be more people out there, more desperate, more willing to engage in so-called criminal behavior, or more people we need to set up to look like they're doing that. We need another way to exploit this group of people economically, materially, etc. And they're not going to get it through an actual job. So we gotta, let's get more, that's what I think that they're preparing for war. And I think I saw Kalanji in the chat. So in his spirit, I think we have to prepare the same way, ultimately.
And when I think about these hiring of all these police officers in this new age that pregnant people now find themselves in, where, having abortion care is criminalized, like you will go to jail for it. They are going to start assigning police officers to start soliciting your period tracking data and tracking whether or not you had a missed period, and are you pregnant? Did you purchase a pregnancy test? Were you searching pregnancy tests on Amazon? Were you doing all this, that, and the third? That is what a significant portion of these new police hires, I would imagine, that's going to be their assignment. You need to track these bitches down. You need to make sure these bitches is bleeding when they say they bleeding, and if they not, go get them. Start filing charges against them. Like that is a horrific fucking thought. Like, we are going to be taxpayer subsidized, even though we already taxpayer subsidize violence in our communities anyway. Well, let's just further extend that violence out to pregnant folks and have them be terrorized every month about whether or not they are pregnant or not, and whatever it ends up happening with that pregnancy.
So Kim, you mentioned DC a moment ago. If I could just share very quickly, we had a very rare and surreal kind of family gathering Monday night, and we went down to DC, to Southwest, to the waterfront, where I haven't been since.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I'm
Metropolis,
saying,
don't it, Jared?
I mean, so I haven't been down there. So you and others in the area will recognize I haven't been there since I was going to Club Zanzibar. That's
Whoa.
So I haven't seen this whole development.
Yeah,
that's still under construction.
Yes,
it's banana. So and all I can to connect the dots here. My point is, even at the dinner, as we were walking down the promenade and all this, and I'm just kind of I was like, what is going on?
Where am I? Is this where
exactly?
Am I?
I'm thinking. I had a thought similar to what we're talking about here. Like, this kind of development and inequality is not sustainable. DC is still DC. And the surrounding areas are still the surrounding areas. The inequality, the differences are stark. And yeah, be love exactly. And for them to turn this area of the city into this, while this is still going, I mean, people were gathered. There was a line of people because there was a Lorde concert. So people
at the
Anthem, which I didn't even know existed. I was like, what is going on?
And I'm just sitting there thinking, this 930 Club.
It's not sustainable. So get the bulletproof backpacks, get the cops in the street, get the military war games, because we're going to keep building this shit for these handful of people that can actually live it. And the rest of you.
And it's funny that you say that specifically, Jared, because you may or may not be aware, but in Southeast, they finally tore down Berry Farms.
Yeah.
So they tore down Berry Farms. The Berry Farms is a historically black, bliggity black, the blackity black part of town. Historic neighborhood. Look up Berry Farms, Southeast DC, and get some information about that. But anyway, so they finally tore Berry Farms down and they displaced all those residents across the city. But it's amazing how they got all these condos up, lickety split, and yet the poorer residents of the city aren't having their new housing needs met and built and developed at quite the pace that these people that are paying $3,000, I think, for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment on the wharf. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a little bit shocking. I was walking down there like, this is unbelievable. The amount of white people, the amount of money, the crazy money.
It's heartbreaking,
not just money.
Yeah. It's hard. It really breaks your heart if you know ODC, and I'm sure it's people who are living in quickly gentrifying areas across the country feel the same. When you walk into them old hoods, them old hangout areas that you used to be, and them joints is not a Negro in sight. it's nothing but whites. It's all shiny and shit.
Oh, they're there.
Like,
they're waiting the tables and cleaning the floors. They're there. They were there, but they were, and then to be fair, also, DC is notorious for its bougie black population, so they were there too. Of course. And I was there, so I'm guilty too. But I'm just saying, it was. Woo! Anyway, sorry about that, but yeah, the dots are connecting. Anyway, where we want to go next?
No, well, real quick, Nathaniel, one of our members, dropped us a message in the chat and said that they were working at the Safeway in Bend, Oregon, when there was a recent mass shooting there, and Nathaniel told us that one of the customers died and one of their coworkers died. Nathaniel, it's interesting that you even mentioned that, because I was wondering when they were talking about the Safeway employee that probably saved more lives. I haven't seen this picture, but something told me that they were black, but I don't know for a fact that they were black. So that was interesting that Nathaniel said that. Meg just ran us a super chat. Thank you so much, Megan. And Megan says, yes, no TTY folks on the inside to communicate with anyone. Follow Be Heard. Does that say DC? Yes. Be Heard DC. TL Lewis for important work around being black and disabled. Thank you so much for that, Meg. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Got a couple minutes before Ear Doctor comes back. Anybody got something they want to get to real quick, or
I don't have it handy, but can I direct you to Google?
Yes, absolutely.
Do me a favor, Google, because I saw this story and I bookmarked it like 2 weeks ago, and I've just been missing you on the remix. This is our first time on together in quite some time. Right. But Google The Big Short. Who was the nigga who was the Big Short nigga? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call him a nigga, but
Michael Burry is the character. Christian Bale plays him. I'm sure that's who you're talking about. But maybe I'm
yeah. So the real person has. I saw a Reuters story where it says Big Short person has decided to invest in prison stocks.
Oh wow!
Not shocking.
Oh wow!
And I said, this got Jared Ball name all over it.
Yeah. Okay, look, I'm pulling it up here.
It's so deep in my bookmarks, though. I got it.
I got you. No, that's it. You had all the necessary.
I don't know. Am I lagging? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We're just ignoring you.
I was going to say quickly. I think that's part of
it. My bad, G.
I'm gonna shut up right now, guys.
No, keep talking. Come on, I'm gonna be quiet.
I was gonna say quickly that I feel like your story is perfect. I mean, the theme we've been talking about in this story is perfect because I agree. Like it's time again for them to rev up the prison industrial complex. And we've talked about this a couple of times that during the Great Recession was the only time recently that we had a blip that went downwards in terms of the amount of folks held in prison. And again, that was because the states themselves could no longer afford to hold people in the numbers that they were because their budgets were shrinking. So, but as even though we're going through this potential recession or inflation, I think the crime narrative that's being put out is an indicator of where we're going back to, which is more folks locked up, which means more Black folks locked up, which means bringing back more police into the community, which obviously means that folks think they can get some money or get rich off of doing it. So, yeah.
So it's funny you mentioned that. I did miss this story. So Kim, I appreciate you bringing it to my and our attention. But I do actually follow Michael Burry on Twitter, and I subscribe to a number of video channels that follow his work and refer to his work all the time. And for folks who don't know, he was, I think, very well portrayed by Christian Bale in The Big Short film, which I think is actually a very good movie on the issue of the 2008 collapse. And Michael Burry, long story short, predicted it and basically took bets out that the housing market was going to crash and made billions. And he has been, so similar to what this story says here, he has been getting rid of everything. He's been selling everything in preparation for what he's saying is going to be a much bigger collapse coming here very shortly than what we saw in 2008. He has already said that while he didn't short or bet against cryptocurrencies, he is not invested in them, and he knows that they're scams and hustles. So he's very interesting character from a capitalist, investor, hedge fund managing world point of view. But I'm not surprised by this at all. And as the story I just was quickly looking at, it says he's investing in GEO Group, and many of us will remember that this is the one of the dominant players in the monopoly of private prisons for a number of years now. And I forgot what their former name was when they last merged with some group some years ago. But it says here, shares of GEO Group rose 12% on Monday, the largest one-day rally in the company since June 2021. Burry's position is worth approximately $3.9 million. Shares of the company, which has a market value of $852 million, are down 1.6 for the year to date. So I'll stop here by saying just that when people who follow the market and follow him do their reporting on him, they say he's an accurate predictor of where things are going to go. So if people follow him and invest along with him as part of their whole career is just to try to follow his investment patterns as best they can. And so just heads up. I mean, it fits well with what we were just talking about. They're not going to solve the contradictions in ways we want them solved. They're going to solve them how they want them solved, which is suppression, violence, warfare, abuse, and imprisonment. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So get your backpack, and you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's just get your Iron Man suit, and and do the best you can. So
get you a fake badge. You're gonna need that because that's how you get by, folks. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get all that ready. It's
gonna be crazy. Dang. So anyway, but one thing you could definitely, actually, I was gonna say something. Let me just stop. Come on back here, doctor. Woo! Good thing I caught myself on that one. That was about to be a mistake.
Hey,
sorry
yo,
about that. Yeah,
I'm gonna be in the DC area from the 14th to the 16th. So listen, I would like to connect. Let's connect while in the DC area. I'm just saying.
Right on.
Yeah,
what's up?
Yeah, my sister's birthday and my homeboy's birthday. We just gonna celebrate. 50 years old, and you know.
Hey,
Big
what's
5-0.
happening?
When is this happening? Because my 51st birthday is coming up at the end of this, September. What's up? What's up?
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I'll be up there the 14th through the 16th. I'm leaving Saturday morning.
My
So
45th birthday is coming up too. Oh wow!
You be lying. Yeah, that was about
10 years ago.
my 45th birthday coming up a decade ago. Yeah.
Stop lying. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to our quick break right here on the Remix Morning Show. What did he talk about? That dude was around when paper was created. Anyway, big up to everybody out there. Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and you know, it's always some crazy news out here. But I was like, listen, let's get some positivity into the world, and let's hear from our youth. So I was like, listen, check this out, y'all. We got something from our youth right here, right now, doing a little bit of poetry. Here we go.
Societal sculptures fade away like water paint on a lean canvas. The mixture of colors makes me anxious, but I swear, I know what pure grace is. We live in a world where the mindset is money. You kill bees, but ask for honey now. Why would you kill what has the power to create and sustain? I notice we love to complain about pain, but no one mentions the thrill in the gain. The belly of the beast is no stranger to scars. Holds an undeniable hunger, and sometimes I question why the only way to feed the beast is fight violence with more violence. Enticing fire to seek prey and annihilate, cause chaos but expect silence. Force compliance, half these people ain't never felt the purest ray of sunshine. A natural remedy for the blues, making poetry exist from soil. Showing me a glimpse every morning, nothing but green, animals roaming free, our air is clean. We don't fear the spirited flames of fire. We learn how to move with the grace of water. Maybe start swimming a little stronger. There's no need to tread the surface. You allow your body to move with the current. There's no bullets devouring the skin of any living being. Guns loaded, cigarette smoking, finger on the trigger. Angry boy sees daddy with gun, learns to shoot. Daddy says, get the job done, waters the bullet with tears and grows a man out of that gun. Bullets for blood, angry man bleeds a lot. Became embodiment of gun, positioned around every corner like a shy shadow. Only seeking to be seen when the deterioration stops manifesting. This skin is still alive, but not for long. This world managed to teach guns how to sing our song, and my song is fading. And I think the reason humanity is failing is you're a fool to think you'll prosper if you aren't a product of pollution and slaughter. They cut down trees to make buildings, build stores to sell trees, identify ocean as wasteland, dumping their truth for safekeeping, hoping the current will take it deep enough to never resurface. Built an army, labeled it factory, told the soldiers they're fighting for salary. This is how they get away with legalized slavery. Grooming human beings into machines, giving them survival of the fittest mentality, mastering the art of rapid strategy. An international game of Russian roulette, a death duet. Shoot the last man standing, a masterpiece, a sculpture of what's left of society.
Can we get the snaps going right about now? Oh my goodness, that's what I'm talking about. Big up to our youth, man. And that's what it is. A little bit of something for y'all right there. Now let's take it back to the Remix Morning Show. You know how we do. All right. All right.
Right on.
Man.
That was very dope.
Especially with everything we're talking about right now. I mean, she hit it right on the point. All this gun violence and everything. Wow.
I hate poetry.
We hate your face.
Kamau, you know, You're gonna take the hits for this, but being the principal brother that I am, I gotta stand with you on this one, man. I mean, I appreciate the talent and I respect that people do what they do and that people appreciate it, but it's not my
Look at Kim's face.
I mean, because you could have not said anything, bro.
You know what I mean?
No, you're right. No, you're right. I should have kept it quiet.
He just can't
Yeah,
help
my-
himself.
I
You
know.
know,
Listen,
because of my advanced age, I went through
No.
the whole poetry thing in Brooklyn, where all the would-be revolutionaries and organizers all of a sudden found their artistic talents, and they went on the poetry scene, and they thought they were all going to be screenwriters and actors, and they wrote like their chapbooks and all that kind of shit. I'm shitting on them. I like some of these people, but it's like it just got to be a bit much with over exuberant poetry readings. First with the black politics, then it went to like the sexual chocolate shit, and then just was like, oh god.
Well,
Yeah, so it's just like so it's always just like a hit for me to go like, oh.
come
God.
out. You're a poet. You just don't rhyme.
No, I know. That's true. No, I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, but come out. We're talking about the child, the child's
she was great.
poetic effort, which was outstanding.
Yeah.
It was.
Absolutely.
It was. It just brought up a little bit, it
Oh,
just
man.
brought something up for me.
And don't attribute that to your age. We all know. We all know why you are the way you are. Everybody knows it.
And I felt that I felt that way 30 years ago, so I can't say my agreement is due to age. I just but I
Well,
did
you weren't going to
just try
say
to keep it to
anything.
myself. No, I
until
wasn't going to say anything.
now let off.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was going to keep that one to myself.
I ain't gonna front. I used to get the ladies back in the day with the poems and stuff. Going to the little
You
poem
did. That was your purpose.
mics.
You did a little sexual. You want to give us clue? Is the one that got the ladies?
Sexual
I
harassment.
swear, I'm the ear. I'm here for you, for my community, for my view. We are here for revolution. The time is now. We're gonna turn it around here.
You know who Ear Doctor? Ear Doctor, I'm sure, was the brother at the black student gatherings where they would have the BSU gatherings when they would have discussions about sex and gender treatment difference and all that. He would be the one up there talking about but that's why I always appreciate my sisters, because I stand and support them. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't treat them like that dude does, and that And I'm in Cambridge Hall, room 322. but because I don't treat them like those other brothers over there.
You know dictation? Come here.
Come to my poetry night Sundays.
I was Shazam off a different world. There was a dude, Shazam.
Yeah. Oh, that was you, Shahrazad, my man.
Oh no.
You walk around with your incense in hand.
With my
Erykah Badu.
And the thing is, we need our sisters. We need our sisters to start comporting themselves with more respect, because how else are the brothers gonna respect the sisters if they walking around with booty cheeks jiggling? That was Ear Doctor.
And then he invited him to his room. You're right.
Right.
Right,
There was not a denial. There was not a denial there. Yes.
I'm done with y'all, man. I catch y'all next break.
Peace, good man. Hey, Imani Niles in the chat letting us know today is the Hood Communist 3rd birthday. Let's do it, Hood Communist.
I like Hood, yeah. They got rid of that dead weight. Let me just throw that out there. They got rid of that dead weight.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I know you don't know, Kim. I'll explain it later, Kim.
One more thing, hey, straight up again, Kamal speaking my mind, but another thing I was gonna let go. I was just gonna let it go.
I'll fill you in later, Kim. They know.
Brooklyn is Brooklyning today, boy. Boy. But Kim, real quick.
Shout out for real. They great. I like Hood Communists.
Now,
In fact, we
absolutely.
we strive. We got this thing called grassroots thinking. We strive to be a baby Hood Communist. So I do appreciate the work they do.
A baby Hood. We all are trying to be baby Hood Communists. We all want to be Hood Communists when we grow up. Kamal just turned 30.
Right. Kamal, I'm so scared of what you're going to say following these compliments. Like, oh, I like blah, blah, blah. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, and?
Start ducking, like get your guard up.
Woo. I can
Kim
only
and
imagine. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jared.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm sure Kamal's kids be giving them other kids the business in school because I'm sure Kamal's
They give
kids,
me the business. They give me the business.
where did they learn it? Where did they learn
Yeah,
it?
well, that's true. That's true. I take full blame / credit for it. Like my son calls me, he calls me Thinny. So I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Thinny. I don't say it like that, but I'm like, he's like, there's no combination of fat and skinny. So Thinny. I was like, what?
Oh, you skinny fat? Is that what he
Skinny
said?
fat? He said,
Oh,
he said Thinny. I
man.
was like, what?
Look at the child. Look at the genius on the child.
I forgot what it was, but my oldest hated on me recently, and I just had to stare at her. And she was looking at me like, why are you looking at me like that? And I was like, I'm just in awe at the hate that hate produced. You know what I'm saying? I was like you are so my child. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you hated on me so well. I'm just in awe at how this is definitely, you know, a chip off the old block. I was like, wow, that was remarkable.
Yo, Al Unique, Brooklyn Moon. So, yup. You remember him back in the day? That's one of the famous poetry spots. It was no bigger than what, like a 5x5 room. And I'm sorry to jump around on that, but he just brought back a memory. They used to have a little bar in there, and they fixed it up. I think later they turned to a restaurant, but that was the poetry spot back in Brooklyn. Hot and sweaty. They had these like big ass windows and curtains drawn, and 40 of us would like jump up in there and be like down for the poetry, and then it's like, all right, that's enough of that. Yeah. Then we go to the other spots around on Fulton Ave. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
And Kamal just be hating the whole night,
it's
quietly just mumbling under his breath.
Exactly. I
hate this.
I was like, I know this motherfucker.
I gotta snap. Hate this.
I ain't snapping.
No, I didn't snap. Yeah, I was like, what is that? Oh, my French? Fuck that. I can hear.
Man, somebody who knew Kamal in the 80s and 90s, please come out with the VHS tapes. I know there was at least one person walking around with a big ass camcorder on his shoulder. I need the documentation of Kamal younger and hating. I would love that, actually.
It's got to be documented somewhere.
It has to be, because this shit right here is vintage, dog. This shit that he giving us, in 2022. What was that shit like in 1992? That's what I want to know.
So, just real quick, Kim, to your point about us finally linking back up here, I've been wanting to ask you again, and Kamal, somewhat to a lesser extent, given your position on publicly on hip hop these days. But are you at all, or is anybody in the chat watching this new series, Rap Shit? Are you? I don't know the actresses' names, but it features two sisters who are forming a Miami-based rap group. And part of one of the background or underlying themes is that one of the sisters was intending initially to be a more black radical rapper, but has, found it necessary to go through a degree of rebranding to have an actual career. Anyway, so I just think it's interesting.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. I stay on my raps. But I was like, I was liking to see how it was going to be a combination, hopefully, of consciousness and ratchetness. But it began to be all ratchet, and hopefully doing
it's an Issa Rae offshoot. She's an executive producer.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit interested, and I know she's one of the tagged Black media creators for these digital platforms right now. So we're going to I think we're going to be getting a lot of things coming from her sort of tree of, anyway.
Is there a trailer? Can we Google a trailer? Because I have not heard of this series, and from what you guys are describing, it's a fictional series, so it's people acting and shit. So where network is this located on? Is this
it's on HBO.
HBO.
I don't know what this is going to do to our copyright. And
I don't know if you
I'm sorry.
I shouldn't do it.
No,
Don't do it.
They
Okay.
did a trailer, Air Doctor. They shouldn't ding us for a trailer.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
I am gonna say this. One of the producers is the City Girls. So it's partly based off of what's going on with the City Girls' life. So
interesting.
Yeah, it shows you the whole Miami come up and all that stuff, especially how they do your cards and stuff at the hotels and stuff. It's wild. It's wild. But yeah, rap shit is pretty good. Issa Rae is doing a thing. Hopefully it get less ratchet. I'm waiting for that. I'm hoping it does, but it is what it is. So I just have to check on that.
What is Anthony saying here? And appreciate the super chat, Anthony. The way they played the other sis with Whitey, though. What with Whitey? What happened with? Maybe I'm. What am I missing?
Maybe I mean, yet.
Did I miss an episode? Maybe I'm missing something, but I just think, I thought that I agree with Ear Doctor. There was a lot of potential, I think, to really get into what the industry is doing and how but the industry's impact on all of this is not really, a focus of the series, which is always unfortunate to me. And they, but they do some of the kind of routine things we've seen happen, I think, when they talk about consciousness versus unconsciousness, but anyway, I'll stop. I won't say more. I'll let you take a look at it if you want to, and others. But I would be interested in your thoughts in how they present what they present. And I will not say is I mean, I enjoy watching it, and I mean, it's a fun watch, but it does. Anyway, I'll just leave it there. Let me just leave it there. I just was curious to see if you had been checking it out.
Do you think it's as ratchet as the Ear Doctor says?
I mean, I feel myself just feeling very old these days and very, I'm admittedly socially conservative. So all displays of affection, of any kind are like making me cringe at this point. And particularly when you see like with these, like I see them as women that would be maybe a little older, around the age of students, and I feel like some of what I feel like I'm exposed to in this is too much. it's like, but no, I mean, I think it's a legit look. I don't know about legit. I think I don't think they're doing too much. I just think that I think I'm struggling these days with all of this, but I think but they focus on I don't want to say too much, but I think they end up, she goes more towards the ratchet, and I just don't think they do enough to explain what causes that. And they fall into some of the old routine ways of explaining why someone would walk away from something considered conscious as opposed to, staying with it. Anyway, go ahead, Ear Doctor.
I think that's what was happening, the difference between rap and hip hop. It's like when the youth say we on a vibe. It's not about listening to the lyrics. It's about, she said, we need to have something where you can get ready to go to the club and have a good time. You're not thinking about the lyrics and the consciousness of the lyrics. You're thinking about, I'm about to get fly. I'm about to give me some drinks, about to pop some bottles. So the vibe is giving you that whole feeling instead of what the content and the words are saying, as in trying to uplift you. But at the same time, it's uplifting your spirits because it's getting you to feel like, I'm about to go have a great time. So that's the difference between rap and hip hop, the whole vibe thing that people talk about now. It's about those melodies, it's about those beats, and it's about the harmony, not about the lyrics.
I don't know if I like the way you're using rap and hip hop right there, Doctor, because I thought hip hop was. Oh, I'm sorry. Here come Kamal. But I thought hip hop was the culture containing all of the elements that involve hip hop, and rap is the genre. And I hear rap and hip hop being used so interchangeably in the incorrect way. It really drives me nuts. So what do you mean by the difference between rap and hip hop? And who is sniggling?
Everybody giggling at you.
I agree with you, Kim. I just thought it was funny the way you said that. My bad. Sorry.
I mean, rap is cat, scat, hat, bat, whatever words rhyme together. Hip hop is more. It came from a more. We unifying. This is our people. We're talking about what's going on in society. That's part of the different elements of hip hop. It's more than just the beat it's a consciousness part of hip hop, was one of the elements also that doesn't get talked about. So yeah, it's a little difference. Rap is something you do. Hip hop is what you are and what you live.
I know that's that KRS line, but I don't think that. Anyway, I think hip hop is the culture. Rap is an element, and within rap, there are different forms, different kinds, qualities, all subjectively judged, etc. And anyway, yeah. But
no, I just told you how annoyed I was when I saw the Today Show advertising hip hop artist Jack Harlow. I'm like, what is he doing? Is he about to start breakdancing too? Is he about to do some graph art in addition to his rapidy rap? Like, what the fuck is a hip hop artist? What is that? What I mean, again, I'm seeing
other elements long been suppressed now. Hasn't the other elements long been suppressed? I mean, it's all about like rapping or lyricism.
Breakdancing is
everything else has been. But I mean, nobody looks at hip hop or graffiti for breakdancing, even DJing, and has taken a back seat to the lyricists. Right? It's all about the lyricists and the production behind it. Like, I think the last 20 years of hip hop, at the minimum, has background every other so-called element of hip hop for purposes of highlighting what they think they can make the most money off of, which is the lyricists.
I think that's our fault in part. I mean, we can blame capitalism, no doubt, and the exploitation of our culture. Yep. But I think that somehow, some way, the ball has been dropped going on to the younger generations. Like, I don't know why they don't know the elements of hip hop. And I can only assume that their parents didn't teach them, because, I mean, you can't expect the public schools to teach them that shit, right? Like, so why don't the kids know about hip hop? Like, why don't they know?
I think so. I think, again, my first day of class last week, I asked my hip hop class, "Do you know the elements, the core elements of hip hop?" And nobody did. And most of them didn't even know that there was such a thing as core elements. Never mind not knowing how to name any of them. My biased approach is to look at it as a sort of an institutional impact, that because rap is more easily marketed, it's more easily manipulated, it's more easily turned into a weapon against the community. It has been promoted to the detriment of all other parts of the culture, which has led many to lose sight that there is a culture. And so most people growing up nowadays they're not exposed to the other elements, or if they are, they don't recognize them as elements of a core of a larger thing called hip hop. And then there's a whole other thing where, we could take as much time as we would want on it, but I think that there was where I do sort of look internally for critique is that the whole quote unquote hip hop activist, hip hop academic, hip hop journalist, that whole 90s, 2000s thing that I was always in conflict with and struggle with, was not able to institutionalize a proper education about what hip hop is, because I think a lot of the people involved didn't understand the context in which, or willfully ignored the context for their own career, losing an analysis of what was going on. So,
and you have to blame it on capitalism. I mean, you think about it. If you really have a hip hop show, you got break dancers. Okay, we gotta pay for them to get on the flight. We got graffiti artists on stage. We gotta pay for get them on the flight, and we got a DJ. We gotta pay to get them on the flight. When all we really need is a rapper to get on stage and go back and forth to a beat. That's only one person you got to pay for. And then you think about women that's MC. You got to pay for clothes. You got to pay for hair. You got to pay for makeup. So it is about
that sounds like patriarchy fault. That don't sound like that sound like the fault of the patriarchy, that a woman can only be received by a mass audience if she is presented in a certain sexualized.
Well, we talking about money right now. We talk about money, not even sexual. We talking about spending money on an artist. You don't have to spend the money on a dude that's wearing a t-shirt and jeans to go back and forth on the stage. You know what I mean? So it's about capitalism. Capitalism broke down hip hop and made it so the MC is the main person.
But I'm just saying, like, when are we? Because now this is at least the third iteration of this. Yes, well, let's say fourth iteration. Like, we have seen blues be usurped and taken away from Black artists. You don't even think that much about blues as a genre that people listen to these days. Jazz, same way. Created by Black folks, usurped, taken away. It's a white genre now, predominantly by and large. Rock and roll, and now rap. So, like, I mean, our great grandparents, parents, and now us. We have seen white folks usurp and take our shit away from us to the extent that our children don't even know that we created the shit. I mean, there has to be some sort of accountability here, personal. I hate that personal accountability, but you feel what I'm saying? Like, the ball has been dropped somehow. Capitalism helped, but who dropped that ball?
Yeah, I admit that I err on the side of institutional blame. Like, I don't think, because the reason that the very reason that created blues and jazz and rock and hip hop and soul and neo soul and R&B and everything that Black people have created is the enslavement, the colonization, the oppression, none of which has been ended as a relationship. So because that relationship continues, and everything Black people create historically going forward will be subjected to that same process. So the next thing Black people create until we have a revolution will also be suppressed, recreated, turned against the community, bastardized, corrupted, exploited, et cetera, and so forth. And then because so often the people that are involved in this are young, are coming from the most oppressed conditions, and because there's no power, it's there's nothing that can be done. There's nothing, so that was what I thought was.
I'm sorry. What are you going to tell us?
Let me just say this real quick.
Well,
I think just that this is where I think the failing of the hip hop activist community came in. That we didn't have our politics right. We didn't have our analysis right. It allowed for the same process to take over those politics. That same colonial process took over those movements in politics and have left us where we are today. Sorry, Kamau, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I jumped in on you, but you picked up on a new point. It was like, yeah, because I remember the hip hop conferences in Jersey and some other places, and again, I was on the outside. I was not directly involved. But it became, from what I've known, some of it was also similar to what we got today. It was like some of it became like, how close do we get to electoral politics? How close do we get to policy? How do the foundations help us keep this going? But I was going to say, too, it's the 26-year-old rapper, 25-year-old rapper, they're going to stick to the politics, or some company offering them an advance of like $30,000 or $20,000 or $15,000. Even if it puts them on the hook, that's more money than they probably ever seen to start off with. So of course they're going to do that. All that politics shit going to be to the side. And then as it gets bigger and bigger, it's going to be like, oh, you can make this money if you just give it to that one or this one, or you start talking about this. We got this commercial lined up. We got this tour for you. We got all these handlers around you. All that shit is going to be something that drapes them and makes them feel closer to that capitalist culture of like, this is success. This is what I've always dreamed of, even if I never knew I was dreaming of it. By now, I got people giving me free shit, people signing autographs, people offer me drugs, whatever it is I want, I got. And then then they like, what has been the last 30 years of rap? That's all folks sing about in terms of popular rap or hip hop. It's the clothes, it's the cars, it's the what I got compared to what you got. That's all it's really become. It's become this whole thing of like me bigging up myself in comparison to other folks. And let me still tell you, I'm hard too at the same time. So as I moved out the hood, as I've done it, I still got my hood connections. I don't live there no more, of course, but I still got all my hood connections. So don't fuck with me like that, right? Because I'm still hard as shit. But let me rap about Gucci for a minute. Let me rap about whatever for a minute. Let me tell you about this. That's the whole thing now. Like, you know what I mean? That's in, and so it does become one of those things that even as an older dude, unless you look hard for something, right? You're not going to find it just because you turn on the radio no more, right? So that's all that stuff is gone and goodbye. And maybe there will be some folks who counter and come back with some new politics and do something different. But even the folks that we've seen that, we've tried to give, or at least I've tried to give some credit to or big up to, when it comes to them dollars, they doing crypto commercials, right? One day they're talking about the cops in the street. Next day they're talking to us about financial literacy. So, that money will rein them right back in soon as they need. It's like, what? You talking too much about that shit? Let me rein you in. Or lastly, let me break your shit up. Like what was Public Enemy's thing? Even though again, there was always contradictions, but the music was hard. We all listened to it. It helped politicize us. CBS was like, what? My man talking about Jews? Get the fuck out of here. We're going to break that whole shit up for you. Like that, your era is done. Your era is done. You know what I mean? All that red.
And then Griff had the nerve to sit there with Nick Cannon and let Nick sink himself by doing the same thing as if Griff didn't know firsthand. I was like, Griff, you're not going to pull him up and say, my man, are you really ready for that? You really ready for that, Nick? He just let
I was actually pretty impressed the way Nick Cannon was able to shake that off. Nick Cannon was like, no, I got 6 women knocked up at the same time. This is the story. Don't worry about that other shit I was talking.
He took his meetings with the rabbis and he did.
Yeah, did he do his apology tour?
He did all of that. He did all of that. But anyway, I don't want to go too far. I just thought it was funny that he happened to be talking to Griff when all that went down. That was what I was like. And at no point did Griff seem to say, at least, I don't know what happened. You know, like, my man, I don't know if you're really ready. Do you think you're above this? What you about to? Nick started talking about why he wears his turban. I mean, he was crying on Twitter. I mean, remember all that? I mean, he went through some changes. Like people, anyway. But, and I just thought, I was like, wow, Griff just said, he was like, yeah, your turn. I guess he was saying your turn. But anyway, go ahead, Kim.
I mean, it's just very sobering and it's very depressing to know that even generationally, like we are, I guess, powerless to stop the exploitation, the monetization, the marketing, the repackaging, the intentional muddling of culture that we create. And that, I mean, that's sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sad because, again, we've seen this happen now multi-generationally, specifically talking about our contribution to music and culture that way. And I just don't like to see that. I mean, it's like, it's weird. I feel where my parents' generation come from, looking at people like the Rolling Stones and Eric Clapton be so widely lauded and regarded. I'm like, dog, y'all are doing Muddy Waters badly. Like, you're doing a bad version of Howling Wolf. Like, this isn't even really that good when you deep it compared to the people that they stole it from. So teach your kids as much as you can about the elements of hip hop, because the school's not going to teach them. Shout out to organizations like Words, Beats, and Life based out of DC. Shout out to Mozzie and even shout out to Dominic, DJ True, D Painter, who founded Midnight Forum, where they make it a point to instruct the youngins about the elements of hip hop and teaching them about DJing and graph art and murals and all the things. So.
Hey, and shout out to Black Power Media for always staying on our hip hop and making sure that y'all know the pioneers, y'all know the people that's doing it now. Go to Sundays and check out Old School, New School, No School Rule. It's all there right here on Black Power Media. Stop playing. And with that said, we're going to take a quick break and get back, and we're going to introduce you to an MC of the new generation that's actually coming with some lyrics. Let's get it. All right, right here at the Remix Morning Show. I always do that, man. Let me hit this button right. All right, so boom. I was talking about a newer MC. He goes by the name of JID, straight out of Atlanta. He just dropped the album. My son called me. He was like, yo, you hear JID's new album, The Forever Story? I was like, nah, but he was like, yo, he's coming with storytelling, lyrics, talking about something, content. And I was like, boy, that's my boy. I love him. And I'm talking about my son. But big up to JID. He did just drop this album, which came out on the 26th. It's called The Forever Story. And he actually has some lyrics. Give y'all a quick taste of JID real quick. All right, right here. Bam.
Paradise. Escapade, shit. Look. I'm just an old ass young nigga, a smart ass dumb nigga, a brand new nigga, but that's where no one from. I just been banging your chick till she come, and I go, and she come again, but I'm on a run. I'm just an insane nigga, untamed nigga. My membrane tainted, my pen pad painted with pain, point blank range, aim at your brain, bang, drinking Jamie. I'm just like Cuba, we ain't Cuba, we 20-something. Kurt Cobain inside the game, forever changes every lane. Heard the people want me dead, so get in line and fight the claim. State your gang and state your name. We exchange and hate for hate. You take a shot, I take a shot. My 38 like 8 for 8. So what's the play by play? Cause day by day we set the pace. Can't like tape, we do the race, but no, this ain't a game. So make my day, so make my day, so make my day, so make my day. Nigga, you faded, run my fade. Nigga, you crazy, gun my waist. Look at you waist, stay in your place. Fuck all the faking, we making it shake. I'm from the ace, we begging and taking the nigga cake, play steak, milkshake, grape drink. Ain't saying it just to be saying it. Coming back for what they take it for granted. And for what the people took and granddaddy. The shot is down with that.
All right, so you hear it right there. Dude got some flow to it. If you do want to hear some new hip hop that's actually talking about something and got some storytelling and all that, check out the new JID album. With that said, let's get back to the morning show.
Right on.
Get back.
This is a perfect example of what I'm saying. Like, all shout out to good sex. Oh wow, what happened?
No.
All shout out to good sex and the female orgasm, but I found myself cringing at that verse. I'm like, I'm just like so uncomfortable at hearing young people discuss their sexuality. It's like, oh my goodness.
Come on,
but
Pop,
I'm just
Pop.
saying.
Pop,
That's what I'm saying. I acknowledge that the issue is me. I'm just sharing. That was a perfect example.
Cool G Rap talk like sex. Oh my goodness.
Come on.
But I'm saying, but when Cool G Rap came out, I was younger than Cool G Rap. So it makes sense. It makes sense. Now I'm the old man listening to kids, and I'm like, oh my God.
That makes sense.
Oh,
I dug it though. I mean, the verse was coming through in duplicate,
right?
To the man pushing the buttons, but overlooking that aspect of it, I actually dug the young man's flow. I liked his voice. I liked his delivery. Say his name. What's his name again, Ear Doctor?
JID.
Like 3 letters, JID.
Yeah.
Okay. How old is he? What's he, about 17?
Young boy, he's down with the J. Cole Earth Gang crew. Actually, I would say the East Coast conglomerate of the new people that got some lyrics: Earth Gang, J. Cole, JID. So they got a whole crew of rappers that's actually spitting something.
Interesting. Is he from North Cat? Is he from Carolina?
ATL, baby.
Oh, okay,
Right.
Atlanta. There we go.
So that's what it is. That's my time for the day. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Thank you, Ear Doctor.
Thank you, Ear Doctor. All right, good people. Anything you want us to get to as we start to take it home for this morning? What's up? And thanks to Erica for lacing the run sheet, by the way. Also,
Sister Erica. Well, let me just mention this, that Biden has announced that there is a state of emergency for Jackson, Mississippi, as Jackson obviously dealing with record flooding, like generational flooding from what they've described, that has compromised the water system, and people are not going to be able to drink the water or use the water in Jackson indefinitely. Like, just think about that, fucking indefinitely, like indefinitely. Are the kids in school in Jackson right now? How is this even working?
Yeah, they probably are. I think I read a story that says that they're going to suspend school and do home teaching. But I mean, yeah, but it's the whole city. Like approximately about 180,000 people live in Jackson proper. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, because the other part of the story is that other areas around Jackson, which are not experiencing this to the degree of Jackson, because their systems have been built up or given the necessary resources to have a real reservoir, real water pumps, and the rest of it. Jackson, because it is an 80% Black city, even though it's the capital of Mississippi, has been purposefully ignored and allowed to be in this kind of condition. So this is no accident. This is not just about climate change. This is also about, again, white supremacy, capitalism, and where resources should go and who they consider good enough to live, right? That's what this really is about. And again, as we talked about a little bit yesterday, can't blame the mayor for the issue of it developing, but when you become a regular liberal progressive mayor, even if you have so-called radical politics or you come from a family of such, and you side up with these folks and you don't call them out when need be and extensively, then this is partly what also happens. Now you're left looking like you're holding a bag because you have to do these negotiations, of course, but you never really came out and expressed it the way it should have been expressed around what is the role of the state government vis-a-vis what's happening in Jackson. And knowing already, they're not supporting you already. So you're not going to get more support just because you kowtow. You have to stand up and you have to talk about that situation loud and clear in a way that brings people to consciousness. If you can do nothing else as a so-called radical public official, you got to bring people to consciousness around what are the dilemmas that you are facing in this role, in this position, and what is happening at the state level and the federal level, which has allowed this to happen for literally decades to reach this point.
So remind me again, what was the number we were talking about earlier in terms of how much money Biden is offering to support the police, to up the police budget with?
Is it 30 some billion? Is that the number? Don't quote me, but it's in that neighborhood.
Yeah, because I just want to have the ballpark at least to work from when we start hearing about how there's no money for Jackson and water correction and cleaning and whatever else has to happen, but this is again the point, and again I think reaches back to those earlier stories, that these are the conditions they are predicting are going to occur more and more and more increasingly so, but instead of correcting it, we're just going to have more police and more military, more prisons, more whatever, or in-home surveillance, whatever they're going to do, the Koch brothers, whatever project they're funding next for us. That'll be how they solve the contradiction. But that's,
I bet you they had the police all out in Jackson to prevent looting, right? Make sure that nothing got looted. Let's put the police out here. People out here
and again,
literally trying to get water.
The National Guard is the one distributing the water. So it's all these military and police institutions, which again serve these other services because that's the system that they built. They built that system, and as folks have repeatedly pointed out, all those resources going to Ukraine, not a whimper of where else could that money be used? Well, where else could that money be? Infrastructure is falling apart. And again, for decades, we've known all about this, for decades. And it's just falling apart. It's nobody saying it's cheap to repair the water, but it's got to be better than spending literally billions of dollars on weapons and tanks and airplanes that are going to go someplace else and be destroyed. And then you're going to have to start and build it all over again anyway. So these are the things that they know are happening and they allow it to take place.
Well, I know the place where the government has decided to spend the money. Don't you guys know that NASA is going to put astronauts back on the moon? The Artemis rocket launch it got scrubbed the other day, but they're going to try it again. And nobody has given us a price tag. I haven't heard the number on this revitalized NASA moon mission. Oh, no. We're going to put niggas on the moon. This is different. I said, oh, no, I don't give a fuck about the moon. Fix Earth, nigga. Fix Earth.
And what does suck is that I read one of the headlines I saw to that story was subtext or subtitled with that one of the reasons that they're claiming for this is that minerals on the moon are important to uncovering the origins of the universe.
Oh my God.
So, but when I read that, so as I took it, I read that and I'm saying to the extent that messaging is true, it's also being used to attack suckers like me who are kind of at least curious about those scientific findings and would be interested in discoveries like that, exposing us to the wonders of the universe and the histories of the universe. But to your point, Kim and Kamau, it shouldn't come at the detriment of conditions here. So, and if we could work it out that all these scientific uncoverings, discoveries could be worked out while people were living well here, that would be great, because many of us are, of course, suspicious that a lot of this is still about the rich trying to find their escape hatch for when the whole planet is Jackson, Mississippi. They want to be able to, they're looking for their next summer vacation or their new housing development or whatever. So, I mean, but anyway,
but Jared, now it's your turn. I take issue with the way you're using science right there, because if we look at indigenous histories, there have been across this globe, indigenous people have been in touch with so-called aliens for thousands of years. I mean, there's tribes. I can't think of which tribe it is, of course, in the upper plains here in the Midwest, not here in the Midwest, but in the Midwest of the United States. They were referred to as star people, because they would talk about the people in the sky as star people. Like the non-white folks have been know what the fuck is up with the universe. It's the Europeans who want their whole colonial white supremacy based, evidence-based, methodologies of, you have to prove science, you have to prove it in science. But indigenous and non-white people have been doing this shit for thousands of years. So I'm sure we actually already know the origins of the universe, but the Europeans erased that shit and now act as though they are the ones to find it. They are the ones to discover it.
I'm gonna go ahead and let that one ride. You can go ahead and have that. I don't know that I'm interested or prepared to debate that right now. So that's fine. My only point was that the messaging of exploration and tapping into people's interest in exploration and scientific discovery, however you want to define it, is being used to walk us away from the reality that conditions are here not being taken care of. But the value of Western science versus indigenous knowledge, that's fine. I'm good with that. Yeah. Right on.
I was going to say, and that we as a larger population get something out of the fact that, again, billions, even if we, again, it's this classic marketing in terms of how capitalism works, is to make us buy in that putting somebody on the moon impacts us here on Earth, right? And we should wave our flags and be proud. Which again, I'm not mad at obviously at exploration or the rest of it, but it's like, but the contours of how it's done, where it's done, and the resources expended upon it, I think that's what for me the debate is. In addition, just think about the privatization now of traveling in space, of now these companies that are making money putting up satellites for other countries. This is not a government doing this. These are now private companies taking the lead and pairing with governments, which is showing where the power now resides. Imagine if Iran, as a nation state, had the capabilities of Elon Musk, they would be bombed by now. They'd be again highlighted as these folks who are going to space for war and the rest of it, and they have no business being in space. So a country doesn't have a right to be, or is limited in technology to do the same things now that private companies can go do, and then sell their ability to do it to whoever the highest bidder is, and get those resources. So this is also about, again, a neoliberal example of privatizing exploration, and privatizing how we think about this exploration, and the lack thereof of thinking through what's going to happen when this is taking place, right? Because there's been already conversations about the amount of satellites that are now being put into space, blocking people's view of stars or other elements that are taking place. Scientists themselves are complaining that people cannot now see certain views, I guess, that they used to be able to see in terms of the galaxy, because of the satellites and the stars and the misalignments of what those lights are. As opposed to what was happening before. So again, this exploration, without any thinking about what the impacts will be of the larger environment, just it gets to take place because some groups think they're going to make a lot of money on it, and then they sell it back to us as this is the way to go, as people are literally not able to drink water here on Earth in the capital of a state in the United States, the richest country in the world.
That's the
But-
man. I mean, just think
No,
about
go
that. Deep that for a second. What Kamal just said about the scientists complaining about the views of stars and other heavenly bodies is obstructed because of man-made satellites. For the first time in human history, this is the case. Like, think about that. Like tens of thousands of years, we are living in the time of self-imposed, gatekeeping. I guess we're keeping ourselves out of the skies and keeping our, blocking our, obstructing our own view. Like that's a deep sentiment. And I think about that in conjunction with, we have to see if we can find water on other planets. Nigga, it's water right here, dog. Like, the fuck are we trying to go light years away to go find water? We have the most amazingly crafted planet for human existence. We are on it. This is it. So let's address that. Let's not. I don't give a fuck what's out on the moon. I really don't. I really don't. Because what's on Earth is more important to me. So yeah, fucked up priorities, spending priorities. It's all bad.
Kim, your video has frozen. We heard you loud and clear, but just a heads up.
Sorry,
your
thank you.
Video's frozen.
But the audio is great.
Yeah, the audio is great, and the frozen image is not unbecoming. So it's not like they caught you in some crazy, it's not like the internet's caught you in some crazy, pose. So it works.
Warm up computer.
It's a good still shot. There you go. There you go. Right on. Right on. Yeah, right on. Right on.
And what's gonna happen when they find these aliens eventually? Anyway, it's I mean they're gonna bomb them for their resources too. So it don't, it's like it's just a crazy world.
But the aliens been peeping us for long. They already know who we are. They know what kind
why
of.
They probably stay away.
Shit, that's the thing. They don't stay away. The aliens be out here. They just be like, but can you whoop us though? Is the bottom line. Can you whoop us? The answer is no. We cannot whoop them. So the aliens mind their business and they just watch us destroy our planet. Like, damn. I remember Earth used to be real nice 5,000 years ago. Look at what these people have done. Y'all really don't believe in aliens? Y'all act like I'm saying. I mean, come on.
But no, where I'm really stuck and where I don't want to fall into the trap in the limited time we have left, and my own inability to get my thoughts together quickly is in this question of science versus indigenous knowledge, and I don't think that they're necessarily incompatible, and I don't think they're necessarily incompatible, and I just wish we didn't have to sacrifice existence here or humanity here or other people's knowledge for continued exploration in what is even defined by the West as science. I don't think anyway, but
it's just the thing that we honestly cannot even fathom the amount of indigenous knowledge that has been intentionally destroyed or misinterpreted. Like, we don't even know. You know what I mean? So I look at what indigenous people built, thousands of years ago, and then I look at what the fuck Europe was doing thousands of years ago, and I said, you know what? Aristotle and Artemis and all these Bamas, Copernicus. I said them niggas bit that shit off of other people. I know that. I don't know it for a fact.
So that's sort of where I
know it for a fact.
That's also sort of what I'm thinking. That, and this is sort of the point that I'm stuck on. That the contradictions are. Even to what you talked about earlier musically, the contradictions of the enslavement and the colonization are that we end up with beautiful music. I mean, Fanon wrote about this. Others have talked about this, that we love hip hop, we love blues, we love rock, we love jazz, but without that experience, we don't get that. Without and so I'm not saying it's worth it, and I'm not saying it was good or justifiable. I'm just saying this is a contradiction, and it's the same thing with the development of science. Western Europe has been able to benefit from all of this abuse of other people and stolen wisdom of other people to develop what they claim sole credit for, but that doesn't mean that their discoveries are not both in some cases legit and in some cases beneficial to the rest of us. So that's sort of what I'm saying. It's the exploitation of, it's the suppression of indigenous and other knowledge that has allowed to some degree the evolution of what the West now considers to be scientific knowledge and wisdom, some of which is beneficial and I think of interest to all of us. So that's all I'm saying. I don't know. So that's the lane I'm currently stuck in. I don't. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't disagree. So I think, obviously, capitalism in and of itself is an engine of development, technologically and otherwise, because they're looking at better ways to improve profits. So that's what capitalism, obviously even Marx talked about it as obviously a system of exploitation, but one which brings forth lots of quote unquote advances, technology speaking, in other ways, which at some point prove to be can be beneficial to society with some, as long as they don't go too far. So I think some of that is true. I also think, though, however, there's other ways in which which communities or civilizations or cultures could have met outside of the exploitive context in which we obviously it's the history we have. We don't know what else could have happened, but I like to believe something else could have happened outside of the exploitive way in which these histories came about, which has given us some of the cultures and technology and everything else that we revered or that we use now more than revere. So I think capitalism, I don't think, was the only way. This exploitive process obviously in my mind, wasn't the only way things could have developed or happened, but it was the way things developed to happen because of European capitalism and exploitation and white supremacy. So I don't.
But
I do believe.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was so really quickly on Kim's alien point. I just wanted to get that.
Right, that's where I was going to go to. I didn't get to that.
So I do believe that there are. I do believe there are life on other planets that we have not come in contact with yet. I do not believe, and maybe this is part of my atheism, of course, that there are aliens amongst us, or that other people in this world have had contact with said aliens. I just think that level of technology and need and advancement, even to travel from there to here, would not be something that is easily hid and unseen. And the stealth nature, I think, of aliens coming here is more of a human characteristic we're giving to them than what actual sort of interaction would happen in terms of what would be needed to reach here vis-a-vis some other place far off in the universe.
To your question, I don't have a problem believing in aliens. In fact, I would be shocked if there wasn't life out there. Like, I would be shocked that the universe and all these universes could produce only us. I don't think that works. But where I get most uncomfortable is the projection of what that alien life is and its interaction with us. And then my biggest problem that I've really been struggling with honestly, quietly for the last 10 years or so is that there's an increasing number of African centered or African centered or African historians who make money promoting the history, what I think is the real history of Africans creating African civilization and world civilization, but who quietly believe that it was aliens who did it.
Oh, I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe that either. And that's that. So that's where I start to that's where I'm like, and I'm very, I've struggled with wanting to call them out. Like, I feel like you can't be taking money from your people on promoting Africans built the pyramids while you really believe that aliens did it. And then you tell me that, and then I'm stuck now with this information, and I'm like, anyway. So I've been struggling with that for a minute now, and I think that is I don't know. Somewhere down the line, we might have to do a BPM expose on that story. But anyway, anyway, that's it. I don't know. And I see reference to the Dogon.
Who said
I'm
what?
sorry.
What was y'all saying?
The Dogon people have been referenced a couple times in the chat, and Ear Doctor dropped them in the private chat. And this is sort of my point what I've struggled with. Like, I believe the Dogon have tremendous wisdom that predates and goes beyond what Europeans have come up with. I don't know that that necessarily means that the scientific exploration conducted even under the Western definition cannot lead to something interesting and revealing. So, but
my only argument is that I just
not
feel
versus Sun Ra.
I just feel as though it's already been revealed. You feel me? Like I feel as though Europeans have created nothing. They have discovered nothing that non-white people on this planet hadn't discovered many years ago. You know, I think it was Copernicus. Wasn't Copernicus who figured out that the sun was the center of the solar system? Meanwhile, the Mayans had documented and had predicted all the lunar eclipses, solar eclipses going forward for thousands of years. So it's like, I don't give a fuck what they thought they was doing in Greece or Italy in around the time of the Renaissance or whatever. The Mayans, the Egyptians, the Kush, these people was already way ahead. And when the Europeans discovered them people, they destroyed everything. They destroyed thousands of years of their own scientific research and the shit that they did, stuff that we will never know. So as much as I mean, I'm sorry to the Europeans, I don't believe y'all. I don't believe shit.
No, but but Kim, but check this out though. So
y'all
to your
made
point,
anything except death and genocide. That's all I believe came out of fucking Europe. Like they didn't create nothing.
But no question. But the point I'm getting at is to the claim of NASA that that I'm saying is being used to abuse people like me and others who have certain interests in what they call science. The Mayans. Well, that's sort of what, again, Hiram, man, the Mayans had wisdom that predates and went beyond Europeans, but they also had some explanations for things that don't make no sense to me either. Like their explanation for how the sun became the center, that we revolve around and all that other, are very mystical, are very unscientific, and can't answer certain things like what created the Big Bang or what elements are in the universe. So that's what I'm saying is like that. Those questions I don't think are answered by the doggone or the Mayans or anyone to this point, because we don't know yet. But so that's where but that's not to say that the wisdom that is developed on the backs of these people is not going to be used to exploit us. I mean, and that's where I think why I'm saying that the NASA announcement is messing with people by saying, we're doing this for scientific exploration and it's very interesting and fascinating, but we all really know what ends up happening with the discoveries you all make. You don't use them to enhance our collective wisdom. You use it for very other, ignoble purposes.
So, the larger point is it's not so much. I think different cultures and civilizations, I don't think anybody has a monopoly on science or finding things out or discovering new things. People do that, trial and error. Some of it is mixed with mysticism. But the Europeans, as Kim stated, destroyed other people's knowledge bases, their histories, their culture, for a purpose of wiping those things out and replacing them writ large across the planet with European-based systems. So to me, the other groups that, whether in Africa or here or in Asia, other peoples who discovered and found things, and whether tied with mysticism or religion or not, would have found their own way towards trial and error, resolving sort of mysticism or religion with other practices that would be steeped in what we might consider science. All of that would have happened over time, as it happened over time too, and still happens in some European societies and other places. No one, again, for me, no one is particularly adept at not figuring things out over time or so forth and so on. What the Europeans did was pressed upon these societies the way in which Europeans do things, the taking of whatever they found that they could see as useful, and the technological advance that they did have in terms of Europeans were the weapons. Always remember that the weapon, it's not so much they invented gunpowder or the rest of it, which I know somebody's going to soon say. It's not about what they invented. It's about what they used it for, what they took with it. And they took it to the point of destroying other civilizations, societies, and know-how around the world. and have now placed themselves as the premier place, the premier society, the premier culture of how we discover or look at things, view things, and take all the credit for their private usage, while the rest of us dabble around the edges and try to get in their institutions even, so that we can participate in some of these ways in which people find out how the world, the universe, the earth works.
Right on, good people.
Anyway.
I agree, Andre. Clip this segment. Listen, Ear Doctor said we got to wrap it up. We got meetings, and the time is up. Listen, everybody, thank you for joining us this morning once again on the Remix. Please support the BPM fundraiser. I think the link is dropped in the show notes or in the chat, or is at blackpowermedia.org. And I'll be back same time tomorrow morning for more Remix morning show and that Boom Bap Breakfast here at Black Power Media. And with that said, you know the deal. Fred said it. Peace if you're willing to fight for it, everybody. Thanks again.